On debate was the Multilateral Agreement on Investments, the MAI, and this was about international investments. Sounds pretty harmless to outsiders probably, but in reality it boiled down to a massive attack and undermining potentially of democracy.
The Multilateral Agreement on Investment was cooked up by some of the world's largest corporations and their associations. And the goal of it was to constrain governments from regulating these big corporations and from regulating capital and investments. It literally constrained governments. It put handcuffs on government regulation and then empowered the corporations with a whole new set of rights to be free from regulation, but also to sue our governments.
So this agreement would have meant that governments would have had to compensate foreign companies if they wanted to increase environmental protections, if they wanted better labor standards, if they wanted to secure equal treatment for women, or if they wanted to tax capital. The MAI would even have led to companies being compensated for expected profits that they might lose from some new law or regulation. And this goes completely against the logic even of the free market. The negotiations were top secret and behind closed doors, until the official proposal by the EU was leaked.
It was some Canadian groups that somehow obtained electronic copy of the text.
Well, clearly the original source was a democracy-loving civil servant in a government that shall not be mentioned. How it eventually got around is we scanned the text into a website and wrote a commentary on what it meant so that a lay person could actually understand it.
When all of this got public, it turned out that several of the European governments didn't even know about it. And then France put up her veto.
So business had been so successful in influencing the MAI rules that this time it was counterproductive. So despite the defeat in the OECD with the MAI talks, Commissioner Leon Brittan didn't want to give up this project. So he brought it in again under the name MIA and wanted to launch a similar investment treaty in the WTO talks.
La ringrazio, la parola al commissario Brittan.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I think there is a wider degree of consensus on this issue than the protagonists would wish to admit. The fact of the matter is that most people, but not all who have spoken, do see the merits of an international agreement on investment, and they are right to do so. You cannot force investment to take place. You can do what you like. You can shout and you can scream slogans from the sky, but people will not invest unless they believe that there is a possibility to get a return. Now it may well be that the scene shifts to the WTO. To achieve that, we have to persuade everybody that there should be a new millennium round, and we have to persuade people that a negotiation on investment should take place in it.
Grazie, signor commissario.
Thank you, Commissioner.